This is our new loading block, and I'll just highlight the features here. So basically there's a slot here that sort of will position our holder, and this is a holder without a spring in it, just so you can see that there's actually a raised pin here, and there's a Allen key sort of thread behind that, and so the height of this pin can be adjusted up and down. And it's designed so that the pin comes through a small hole in the holder, just like so, and that pushes up the spring and opens it up. So just by placing pressure down on the holder, the spring remains open, and then we can take our grid. There's one here. Sometimes they're a little bit hard to see on here, certainly in the camera anyway, not too bad by eye, but often, it's useful to do this in a little stereo microscope as well. But so what I've just done is maneuvered the grid over the hole. So there's just a little hole here, and that the grids are fairly robust when they're not electropolished. So I've just touched, the top, the tips from the top there, and that's not a problem really until after electropolishing. And if it is electropolished already, then I don't recommend doing that. You will damage them. So if you maneuver the grid over the hole, you could sort of poke down on it, and that will just push the tab through to the other side. And now it becomes much easier to sort of pick up and handle the grid just by grabbing a hold of that tab. So what happens when we push down, lift the screw out of the way, and then we apply a little bit of pressure here so that the spring is raised up, and then we can simply slide this grid into position. Just there. So it self-levels with those two notches on the sides there, and there's a little sort of raised tab that sticks through that hole where the grid is, where the tab has been folded up, and that gives us that extra bit of security. And then as we release our pressure on the holder, the spring clamps back down onto the grid, and you can pick it up and proceed to fibbing, atom probe, whatever it is you're doing. So that's the way the new system works. It's much easier for handling. So maybe I should give you a demo with an actual spring in place.